snap, it's Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome, everybody, to the SATS Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Garrett. What up, Garrett? Choo! High energy on stacking, fishing, and life. Let's go, Garrett. Love it. Love to hear it. Very cool. Very cool. So today, what up, Leonard? Round of applause for the live studio audience for Leonard. Choo! All right, so today we're going to be hanging out and buying some Bitcoin like we always do, dang it, which is awesome. Choo. And yeah, it's a great day to be alive. And understand this thing called Bitcoin. I didn't talk about this yesterday, but spent the weekend with some family, and I couldn't keep my mouth shut, guys. I couldn't keep my mouth shut about Bitcoin, and everybody's got their own ideas of what investing is, and and I didn't realize how much I've learned, or how much practice I've had to articulate these ideas, doing 145 shows or whatever, 146 shows. That or more than 155 shows, right? We're in 100 and what? 154 shows. 154 shows in, I realize how easy it is for me now to explain things when it comes to Bitcoin and like the economy and like real estate and just the way everything is tied together and the way everything is set up to basically keep you poor and make the rich richer and keep you working harder and harder the rest of your life until you die, right? So anyway, it got to the point where I just couldn't stand it anymore. I couldn't stand there and listen to people complain about stuff that could be easily remedied, and not easily remedied, but just like I wanted to slap some people around and be like, wake up, wake up, dude. The money is the problem. Our money is what the problem is. Okay, wake up. All that stuff gets fixed. All that stuff gets resolved, or you can at least get yourself out of that situation by doing something as simple as stacking SATs. Obviously you have priorities, right? So just go with like you need to start looking at your finances and just prioritize differently, perhaps, right? And then you won't have to feel that you need to complain about the economy or the way things are going, because you know the solution, right? And now when you hear somebody else complain about it, you can also be the guy telling them what the answer might be, or at least in a nice way guide them towards the idea that maybe the problem is $1. Okay. All right. Let's talk about that more during the Why We Stack segment. Let's get into the SAT strength to kick things off. SAT strength. How many Satoshis can you buy for a single dollar today? All right, today for a single dollar, you can buy 2,320 Satoshis. What the heck is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar has 100 cents, a Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis. So when you look at the price of Bitcoin, you say $43,101. I can't afford a Bitcoin. Come on. I'm not made out of money. You think money grows on trees? No, it's printed by the Fed. Anyway, you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. Okay, you can start buying fractions of a Bitcoin, however much you feel comfortable with, and that money that you've invested into Bitcoin, guess what? It's shielded from the inflation that is constantly happening to the dollar. So, little by little, you can stack more and more Satoshis. We call them SATs for short here on the show. And the more SATs you stack, the more wealth you have that's shielded from inflation. And guess what? That wealth is not only preserved and kept from inflation, but it's actually gaining purchasing power as we speak. As a dollar devalues, your Bitcoin gains purchasing power. And so over time, once you've accumulated enough Bitcoin, enough Satoshis, your life gets easier. The things you need to do to maintain your current lifestyle are less and less because the value of your savings is going up over time when your savings is in Bitcoin, which is the whole premise of the show. Okay, save in Bitcoin because the dollar is sinking, the dollar is dying. All right, I keep talking about this. Let's just finish this section. Okay, let's say you're walking down the street minding your own business. You look down, you see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day you'll have 23 satoshis. Today, for a single penny, you can buy 23 satoshis. Okay, not bad, not bad. Back in the day, back in May 2023, you could buy 39 satoshis for a single penny. And so it takes more US dollars or more pennies to buy the same amount of satoshis as it did before. We're almost to 50% more money. So it takes 2 cents to buy the 39. Yeah, almost. It's almost going to take 2 cents to buy the 39 satoshis we were able to buy with 1 cent just last May. Wild. Wild, okay? So we illustrate that to highlight. We highlight that to let you understand that in terms of Bitcoin, everything else is going down in value. And so you need more of everything else to buy the same amount of Bitcoin. In other words, if you're holding Bitcoin over time, things get cheaper for you. Round of applause for J-Dub in the house. What up, J-Dub? And the Boise, Idaho local guys. What up, Boise? Let's go, boys. Good to see you guys in here. So yeah, simple as that. The more sats you hold, the better you'll be, the better off you'll be. And let's go into this beautiful segment, which we like to call Why We Stack. All right. What up? BTC Moon Guy in the house. Welcome to the stream. Round of applause from the live studio audience for BTC Moon Guy. Yeah, we're just talking about it. So the thumbnail for today is the dollar is sinking and Bitcoin is your lifeboat. And it's as upfront as it could be. It's not, it's an illustration, right? But at the same time, it's the truth, right? We saw on yesterday's show, Powell is telling you that, yeah, we're going to print and keep printing. And they expect the debt to go to $144 trillion. The current debt is $34 trillion, right? So we're going to go from $34 trillion to $144 trillion. You know what that means? That's an expansion of the money supply, okay? As the money supply expands, right, it means that there's more monetary units, and therefore each monetary unit represents less and less of the value. So if you're holding those same monetary units, those dollars, it doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter what kind of an education you have. Your value is being sucked away from you. And Powell said it himself. He said we're borrowing, right? But if somebody came over to my house and borrowed my kayak without telling me, I call that stealing, right? That's called stealing. Let's be honest here, right? If I go and I borrow your lawnmower that you left out front so I can mow my grass and not tell you about it, am I borrowing it? No, right? Let me borrow your lawnmower so I can put it on OfferUp so I can buy more sats. Let's go, right? But they're borrowing money from future generations that are not even born yet and have no way of consenting for them to borrow from them, okay? So if I'm not telling you that I'm borrowing something, am I really borrowing it, right? It's called stealing. Let's just be honest, okay? They're stealing from future generations. They're stealing from your kids and from your kids' kids and from your kids' kids' kids, right? Because they're borrowing so far into the future that that's how many generations deep they have to go in to be able to provide the things they promise, right? So what can we do? Can we go and vote somebody into office that's going to stop this? If Trump gets elected, is he going to stop it? No. If Biden gets elected, is he going to stop it? No. If I got elected and I became the president, would I be able to stop it against the whole mechanism? Probably not, right? There's so many leeches dependent on the money printer that the whole system is set up so that the more power you have, the closer you can get to the money printer, and the closer you can get to the money printer, you get those freshly printed dollars before they hit the whole economy, and therefore you get to use them when they're worth more, right? So if you're close to the money printer, you get freshly printed dollars when they have the highest value, and then as you use them to buy whatever you need to buy to invest in whatever you need to invest in, as like one of the quintillion people, then the rest of the economy gets that money. By the time that money gets dispersed around, it's worth less. It's been devalued, right? It's been inflated. Okay, so there's nothing you can do as an individual person, even as a corporation, to go and change the way things are. Okay, the whole idea of Republican, Democrat, and the political stuff, all that stuff is just there for you to get distracted, and even better, it's there for you to go and fight with your friends, fight with your family members, and not talk about stuff that's important like money, right? Like that you're getting robbed. Republicans and Democrats are both getting robbed equally. Okay, it doesn't matter who's in office. If they're approving some kind of expenditure, right, for the government, right, the wars continue to happen, whether it's a Republican or Democrat, you're still gonna get robbed. Okay, your vote does not change the fact that whoever's in power is gonna run those money printers. Okay, because the reason they're in power is because somebody paid enough money for them to win an election, or to get enough advertising to win an election, right? That their vested interest is in that influence to control or to direct the power of the money printer. Okay, if you the power of politics is to be able to print money, right, out of nothing. Okay, so the only way you can protect yourself from that, the only way you can take the little value that you're able to accumulate through your regular job, through your day to day, is to save that value in Bitcoin, get it away from those people that won't be able to dilute it from there. And in a way, every time you take a little bit of the money that you earn and move it into Bitcoin, you are in essence voting against that whole system, right? The whole system of the corrupt politics, because now they won't be able to devalue that little bit of value that you moved into Bitcoin. They won't be able to take some of that value and use it for whatever they decide they need it to use it for, right? Whether it's to distribute that money within society, or distribute that money within corporations, or backstop a bank, all that stuff. Yeah, they won't be taking from your value to accomplish those tasks anymore. It'll be separate from that. It'll be away from the system. So every time you stack, you're in essence voting for a different type of system. Okay. All right. So that is what we have for the Why We Stack segment. And let's jump into the stack recap, because we don't only stack Bitcoin. Sorry, we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin. We do it every Monday through Friday, 12:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern. We stack SATS. Let's go into the stack recap. All right, here we go. Stack recap. So we are in the positive today by a little bit, 0.65%. And today the price of Bitcoin is, oh man, it's slightly below our average buy price. That means that today we're doing a double stack. We're buying $40 worth of Bitcoin right now on the show, regardless of the price. Okay, we're buying $40 right now. Okay, so let's do that. Let's get that done. The only thing else. Let me see. Here you go. Yeah. So now that we know how much we're stacking, let's do what we came to do. It's time to stack some SATS. All right. As you know, I stack over on Swan, and today we're doing $40 worth. We get this preview going. Take my screenshot from the notes. Boom. Today on episode 155 of the show, we'll be buying $40 worth of Bitcoin. Here we go. Just like that. Let it keep rolling, and then we'll hit you guys with read some chat while this is rolling over. Wow. J-Dub. Dan Tornado. Yeah, I think LA's getting way more rain than we are, for sure. But J-Dub says, we're just getting endless rain in LA. Glad I got my Bitcoin lifeboat. Let's go. Very nice. Very nice. Oh, there it is. Just like that, our Satoshis have been accumulated. And now, only one thing left to do is chill. Chill in the rain. Okay? Rainy day stack. One stack for $40. Let's get in here and update this spreadsheet, okay? Let's see. Here. Feel free to pop any questions into the chat. I'll check them out after we update the spreadsheet. Today we purchased at 43,240. Purchased $40 worth of Bitcoin, and that yielded 0.00091582 Bitcoin. And another way to express that is in Satoshis, which basically means you move the decimal over 8 places to the right, and we get 91,582 Satoshis added to our stack in the year on the day of February 2nd, 2024, when Bitcoin was priced at $43,240. And the more and more I think about this, I look back at our stack in May when we were making purchases of Bitcoin at $27,000. And we got as low as 25? Was the lowest one? Yeah. We made purchases as low as $25,151, right? And we only bought $25 worth. Right? You look back, look at $25 worth of Bitcoin was getting us 99,000 Satoshis. And today, $40 worth of Bitcoin is barely getting us 90,000 Satoshis. Oops. There we go. Right? So, slow and steady. More and more, you need more and more dollars to get the same amount of Satoshis. It makes me sad that we didn't go back. If we go back in time and stack more on those dates, look at that. We'd be so much more ahead, right? But then it makes me think, all right, so today we have 13.5 million Satoshis on the main account, and accounting for just this year, we are at 2.7 million Satoshis. I think there's something's wrong with this one. 1,000, okay. No, it's fine. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's crazy, right? We are stacking slow and steady, but you know, I was in the chat on Simply Bitcoin earlier this morning, and I see a guy in there talking about like waiting to buy Bitcoin until so that it might hit, because he thought it might hit $33,000, right? And he's in there trying to like see if what people thought about it hitting $33,000 or 37 or 38 even, right? And I'm thinking to myself, damn, dude. First of all, you're doing it wrong if that's your thought process, right? This is the way you gotta think about it. And I'm gonna just say this here, even though most of you guys understand it. I'm just gonna share this here because I think it's a good thing to share. Where is it? Screen browser. We'll use this sheet as a place for us to do math. Okay. So it's all about perspective. Okay. Think of it this way. Bitcoin is currently at 42. $38,000. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And let's see here we go. So let's see how this comes out, guys. I hope this comes out okay. $42,000. And here, let's do it like that. And this guy's asking when Bitcoin might go down to maybe 37,000. What up, Paul? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Round of applause from a live studio audience for Paul. Okay, I'm gonna do this math here first. Okay, so we have here is the difference between the price that where it's currently at. Well, 43 now, right? Let me change this. Even then, even if it's 43, whatever. $43,000 and $37,000. When you look at it like this, there's a big difference, right? I mean, it's easier to see that big difference, right? It's a lot of difference, right? But if we look at it like this, right? It makes it makes it a little bit different, right? It gives a little bit of perspective, right? So if you are trying to make more fiat money, if you're trying to make more dollars, and you're looking at it like, oh yeah, if I just wait until 37, I can make a little bit more than buying now at 43. And you're probably thinking about selling it like when it hits to 70 or something, or thinking of selling it like when it gets to 50. I don't know, right? It's like a different mindset. You're trading it. You're trying to trade it, right? But if you look at it and understand the system, the way everything is set up, the way that the money printers are not going to stop, and there is a chance, more than a chance, that Bitcoin will get to 1 million, right? If Bitcoin gets to $1 million, what's the big difference between buying it at 0.043 million and 0.037 million, right? There is a difference, right? But the difference becomes a lot smaller when you base it on the bigger number, when the potential is so big, right? So the difference between waiting for it to go to 37, right? The risk, reward, the cost of you waiting for it to go down to 37 means that it might never go to 37, and you'll miss the pump to whatever the next pump might be, right? And by doing so, you put yourself out of the game, right? You're on the sideline when what you should have been doing is what we do here every day: dollar cost average. If you have a big amount of money and you want to start investing into it, start investing into Bitcoin. Dollar cost average it out. You say, I want to buy $100 a day. I want to buy $200 a day, $300 a day, whatever you feel comfortable with, and stick to your schedule. And if while you're stacking, all of a sudden the price drops a lot, okay, well, do a double stack or do a triple stack, whatever you feel comfortable with, right? But what could happen is there could always be a black swan, right? And I know black swans are not supposed to happen very often, right? But the likelihood of another black swan event happening for Bitcoin is pretty high, I think, right? Because if any other country decides to publicly announce that they are stacking Bitcoin, or that they're mining Bitcoin, or that they're going to start using it as a reserve asset, you're not going to have enough time to go and change your market order to whatever the price is, because now you heard the news, it's too late. Everybody else is going to hear the news probably before you, right? You're going to come to the chart waiting for to check on your $37,000 buy, and Bitcoin is already beyond 50 or something, right? And it's never going to come back to C37 ever again, right? On the flip side, it could. Some black swan event happen on the opposite side, right? Where there's some kind of FUD and Bitcoin does drop, right? But the way things are going, the more likely side, what's more likely to happen is for it to eventually just keep going up. What up, Paul? Hey, Paul's has I think would have some good insight. He says he's been stacking since 2019, right? Yeah. exactly. Since 2019, that means so 2019. Yeah, he's been through a couple of cycles now, right? He's been through a couple of halvings, and yeah, Paul's probably like one of the guys that like we're kind of trying to be one. We're trying to be like Paul. Is what I'm trying to say here. We're trying to be like Paul, like depending on how much you stack, if you can make it through a couple of cycles. This will be your second halving. Okay, cool. Yeah. So Paul's kind of a veteran now. He's gone through the first cycle. He's experienced that like that drop, and if he stacked through the whole drop, he's probably doing okay right now, right? So similarly, this is I think I started in 2021, Paul, and yeah, see that. Not because you have to, Paul, right? Because probably your SATs are more valuable to you than spending it on a car, right? Which is kind of like what my mindset would be, right? Why would you trade your SATs for a new car if you don't need it, right? It's just like you see exactly. See, there you go. See, and see this. Okay, so there's so many things. There's so many ideas popping through my head, just running through my head right now, just seeing what Paul's saying, because I have that inkling. I have that feeling. I'm starting to get that feeling, as is right now, when it comes to stacking, right? Every time I go to buy something, every time I think about spending money on something, I think, is this thing gonna make my life more? Is this thing gonna make my life better than stacking some sats? Is this thing worth more than stacking some sats? Is it gonna bring so much value to my life, or be such a great experience in my life, or a great memory in my life, that it's worth not stacking that money, right? You call me a cheapskate, call me a sat skate, cheapskate. Stack those exactly. See, what up, Carl? Let's go. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Carl. What up, Carl? Yeah, we're talking about this will be my third halving. Let's go. BTC Moon Guy is like the veteran of the show. All right, you're gonna be our consultant to keep us based, because I know it's wild. We are a bunch of. I'm a noob, guys. When it comes to Bitcoin, I'm pretty new. I think I've hit maybe, for sure, easily I've hit the 1,000 hours of Bitcoin study mark, right? But I'm by no means an expert. People ask when I'm going to start selling. I respond by saying, when are you gonna start stacking sats? Okay, there you go. Yeah, exactly. When are you gonna start selling? When are you gonna start stacking? That's right. Nice. Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. So it's just very it does get frustrating at times, though, that when you see somebody living the hustle life. Okay, let's talk about the hustle life for a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna go on this little side tangent. Hustle life, where you're like working your butt off and you're doing all these things. I mean, I get it. There is a virtue in hard work, right? But if you're the virtuous hard worker in a system that's set up to steal from you, you're just a sucker, right? Straight up. And hustle culture is cool. I understand it. Take personal responsibility and better yourself and get good at something, and be a good, I guess, citizen of the world, right? And be productive. But if you're going through all that work, all that hustle, you got step one is gotta be to understand how you're gonna harness that work, and where you're gonna store that value that you're making by all that hustle. Otherwise, you're hustling for somebody else, right? You're hustling for the government. You're hustling for whoever happens to be in office that you don't like, right? You're hustling for them to be able to pay their wars and do all those things, right? So, hustle life is cool, but you have to understand where you're going to store that value that you're hustling so hard for. Okay. So I think the hustle life idea has to be paired with hustle. Hustle isn't all. You got to be able to safely store that wealth that you're making via your hustle, whatever your hustle happens to be, right? So yeah, it's crazy. What are you talking about? Leonard, good luck finding a basement. Oh, that's so funny. Let's see. Yeah, slow and steady, stacking sats. I was let's see. Trying to remember what else I needed to tell you guys about. Yeah, okay, we were talking about how making it through a cycle is will be more proof to yourself that you're on the right track, right? There's a chart, I forget what it's called. It looks like a spiral. It's a really good chart because it's showing you like if you look at Bitcoin in any 4 years, in any 4 years, you're in the positive, right? So yeah, Bitcoin does have its bear market, but for the most part, it's trending up, and so it's a good store of value. Let's see. Gonna read into the chat real quick, make sure I didn't miss anything. Let's see. That's good. Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, put in the chat. If you guys are looking at figuring out custody or anything like that, or setting up a seed phrase, I had a question from one of my friends yesterday about Seedphrase Security, basically putting it on a stamp or stamping it out, right? And we've talked a little bit about that before on the show, but it's maybe a good thing to go over again real quick. The idea that your hardware device or your hot wallet has a seed phrase that you can use to recover that device or hot wallet, and that seed phrase is as important, or if not more important, than your actual signing device, because that seed phrase is going to give you the ability to recover your access to your coins if you lose it on your device or on your hot wallet on your phone. So you can write it on paper. Most people write it on paper, right? But the best thing to do would be to stamp it out. And yeah, there's like seed plate, but seed plate is like it's like $160 for a little titanium plate, and the little hammer and the little die set from like probably Harbor Tools or something like that. Harbor Freight. You can do that on your own without getting that kit for under like $20-$30. You know, most of you guys probably already have a hammer, right? You can go to Harbor Freight or your local hardware store, and you get the die set with all of the letters and numbers. And then what you do is, say your seed phrase is 24 words, right? You can do one of two things, or probably more than one of two things, but these are my two ideas. You can get an actual titanium plate from Amazon, and just a blank plate itself will cost you about $9, something like that. $9 for just a titanium plate. It's just a little piece of metal, right? No branding, no lines on it or anything, so you'll have to organize it yourself. Or I've seen this other thing which is really cool. You can stamp it on metal washers, and then put those metal washers on a bolt, and then put a nut on that bolt, and now you have like, it looks like a stack of quarters with a bolt through it, and that's your seed phrase, right? So the way you would do it, you would keep track of the number of that seed phrase word, and you don't need to stamp out the whole word. You just need the first 4 letters. Okay, so if your seed phrase word is like, I don't know, Satoshi, you would just need to type out SATO, right? And the rest of the words in the word set wouldn't match because all the words are unique up to the 4 letters. Okay, you wouldn't do 3 letters because that would be too little. There could be more than one word that starts with the first 3 letters, but when you hit 4 letters, you'll be fine. So on your stamp plate or seed plate or washer, each washer would be one word of your seed phrase, and you would stamp the number. So for example, 01, leave a space, and then the first 4 letters of your first seed phrase word. And then you'd continue on to add 24 or 12 if you're doing a 12-word seed phrase, but 24 is what's recommended. And same thing with a seed plate. You can stamp as long as you stamp the order, the number, and the first 4 letters of the seed phrase word, you'll be fine. If somebody saw your seed plate and snapped a photo of it, it'd be easier for them to see it and snap a photo of it, right? On the washers, they'd have to undo the bolt, spread the washers out on the table, and then take a picture of all the washers. So it'd be more time consuming to steal your seed phrase in passing, right? But once you have your seed phrase stamped into the metal like that, you can store it somewhere, and if the place where it's being stored happens to burn down, you'll at least still be able to recover that wallet from the seed phrase data that you put into the metal, right? So I mean, it's a good way. It's a good thing to do, and you probably should consider that. I use I bought a titanium plate, like I said, on Amazon, and it cost me about $9, and it's pretty thick actually. It works great, and I was able to stamp right into it. It's a little bit difficult doing it without like a alignment jig, but it's still doable. I can read it, and it works. So that's done. I might do another one with the washers soon, as like a project with my kids maybe. But yeah, it's a good approach. So if you haven't yet backed up your seed phrase to some kind of mechanism like metal, or I would say metal's probably the best way to go, right? You should consider that. And if you guys have any questions on that, we can maybe talk about it more tomorrow. Basically, I want to make the show where it's going to be helpful to you guys. And if you guys have any questions, if I'm able to answer those questions, I will. If I don't have the answer for you, then I'll go do the research. I'll look it up because it's going to help me get better at talking about this stuff too, and be able to help more people. Okay, so yeah, that's basically all I got for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the StackSats Show. Hope your stacks are getting stronger and stronger. Remember to sell whatever you don't need. Look at everything in your house and see it as potential Satoshis sitting there, not earning. Okay? Get rid of all the crap you don't need around your house. Get some space around you. And if you've already sold everything, you're living on just an inflatable mattress, one chair, and a computer monitor or a screen, go figure out something you could do for your fellow man that's going to create value for them that they're going to give you money for. And you stack that as well. Okay? All right. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the StackSats Show. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Andrew in the house. What up? Andrew, we start at 12:30 Pacific time, 3:30 Eastern. See you tomorrow. Set the reminders, dude. Later, everybody.